Joining me now is Jose Castillo, who is currently a resort duty manager at the Walt Disney Company. Jose, are you concerned first and foremost about your job security by speaking out here tonight?
Hi, Laura. Thank you for having me on the show. Honestly, no, it's no secret here in Central Florida that I'm running for Congress, that I'm a Disney worker, and I'm a strong conservative. To be honest with you, I'm not concerned about my job because I think if I were to get fired for my views, I think it would send a wrong message to conservatives. That conservatives would not be welcome at Disney. I know that right now it seems like there's a misconception. This is what I tell people: there's a misconception out there that everyone at Disney is just raging liberals, and that I think that could not be farther from the truth. From my perspective, as a candidate running for Congress, I have tons of people that work for the Walt Disney Company that reach out to me daily on social media.
Okay, but Jose, this is about this current story. I'm glad you're happy at Disney. But I can tell you what, after people saw what they saw in those videos, they're not happy at all. So I'm glad your job security is there. Good for you. But someone who is a traditional conservative, social conservative, serious Christian, or frankly, any other faith, is now being told that Disney's purpose, political purpose, is to ensure that kindergartners to third grade are taught about sexual orientation. That is the hill that Disney wants to die on after making billions off of families who are traditionalist. That's the problem here. That's the problem.
I think they're making a terrible miscalculation that ultimately will be bad for business. Their statement says this about the bill that Ron DeSantis passed. They said, our goal as a company is for the law to be repealed by the legislature or struck down by the courts. And, in the left, they talk about democracy after this election. And so what about our democracy right now? The people of Florida, a lot of Disney cast members voted for our state legislature. These are duly elected members of the Florida House of Representatives and the Florida Senate who passed this bill, sent it to the governor, and thank God our governor has the backbone to stand up to companies like mine, Disney, and pass this bill and stand with the people of Florida, stand with the parents, and protect our children.
Well, I can't tell you how many people I heard from today said they're never going to Walt Disney World again. They're not going to Disney World. They're not going to Disneyland. They're not going to spend the thousands of dollars that they're charging at the Star Wars experience at Disney to essentially be told they're a bunch of, anti-LGBT, horrible, awful, rotten people. They're just not going to do that. So, I guess Disney can cobble together their income from non-traditional Americans, but that's going to be a heavy lift. Now, a new poll is saying that a majority of Florida Democrats support its new parental rights bill. So Democrats support the parental rights bill. The numbers are huge. Again, Disney going with the far left extremists, which I can't imagine what Walt Disney would think today.
Well, the reason that's happening is because really there's this saying, squeaky wheel gets the grease, and the small minority within the Walt Disney Company that's part of the LGBT community are screaming the loudest. They're being the loudest. They're being the most vocal. So we need conservatives like me here. I'm as a candidate. I'll be as loud as I can, telling people that we need to stand up for our conservative values, and I'll be doing the same in Congress. But what Disney fails to realize is that we've gotten emails from our executives saying their stance on the bill and whatnot. And what people fail to realize, I knew where they stood already, but there's a lot of people that are disappointed.
So why would you want but why would you want to work at a company where the company essentially thinks that you're a bigot? What they said essentially about Ron DeSantis and all the activists who supported what Disney did was that Ron DeSantis was a bigot. So, again, the message to traditional Americans is you're not welcome here. That's the message Disney is sending out. I'm going to say it very clearly tonight. Everyone's walking around this issue. They do not think that traditional Americans should have a seat at the table or, frankly, even be on corporate boards. I don't know how many conservatives are on the board of Disney today. We should have put their names up on television tonight, but I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, and corporate America is going to be in for a rude awakening. Thank you, Jose. We really appreciate you speaking out tonight.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.